Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. And today with me, I have Seher. Seher, say hello.
Hi.
Seher is a terrific freelancer. She has been doing a lot of consultations lately, and she's going to talk a lot about freelancing, how to make money as a consultant, and how you can get started as well. So, if that's something you are interested in, be it you're a fresher or you have some sort of experience, I'm pretty sure that you are going to love today's session. But before we get started, Seher, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Stehe, and I've been working as a freelancer like for the last 3 months, and it's been really great. So, I joined Freelance One-on-One Academy. So before that, I was still like I was doing content writing internships, but then like my big break was when I joined Freelance One-on-One Academy, and it's been such a roller coaster since then.
Oh my God, that's really exciting to hear. But Sarah, what is the kind of industries that you work with, and what exactly do you help them do? I'm pretty sure people would love more clarity on that.
Definitely. So I'm a social media manager, and what I do is I help service-based businesses and product-based businesses. For now, that's my niche. So what I help them with is I create a strategy for them, a social media calendar for them, and deal with graphics. And right now, I've been working with a lot of amazing coaches, like international and Indian coaches, and yeah, that's been amazing.
I feel so proud. I feel like a proud mama because I know that batch two, like right when you were the first name that I knew within batch two, because Sahel legit made a Discord or unofficial server kind of a thing for everyone to interact in, and it was so nice. So Sahel was actually the very first person I knew from batch two, even before everything started, because like she was the popular girl, and she's been doing great now. But Sahel, you mentioned making a social media calendar. Would you like to explain a little bit more about what is the social media calendar? How does one make it? And why are people paying for it?
Uh, so like with coaches, with respective coaches or people who are, scaling their businesses, so they don't have time to create a perfect content strategy, even if they want to. So like
What
they
is the
have their
content strategy?
ideas.
Can you explain that in very simple words?
Yeah, so a content strategy is customized for the client, so which is a person who I'm working with. So it can be like their ideas based on their content pillars. So content pillars again, it is like the 3 or 4 ideas that they want to be based, like want their business to be based on. So yeah, so a content strategy like surrounds around those 3 or 4 content pillars. So like something personal and they're educational. So if it is a niche, so it's a manifestation niche, so tips regarding manifestation. Or if it is a like it is
Manifestation strategies, 55,
yeah
555, 111. That's really good. Like you're good at explanation, so I can get why you are doing consulting. And another example would be if someone is a health coach and I am serving them as a social media
yeah
manager, their content pillars can be healthy things to eat, one
Mhm.
recipe, and maybe one yoga pose or whatever exercise that someone can do. So these are content pillars. And so what Seher does, what a lot of social media managers do, is that they basically make the strategy. Now, Sarah, why do you think that people don't make this on their own and they hire people and for a good amount of money? Like, can you give people an idea of how much a social media manager can charge for all these services?
so when I started, right, so my first so I never believed in charging low. So my first client, I charged them like $400, and it was, for me it was like $400. Like it was a very high amount because I was just learning to deal with all the money mindset, and because I have never seen that much money, like I haven't earned that much ever before. So $400, and I sent the proposal, and the client like immediately accepted it. I couldn't like believe it. I was dancing the whole day, and I
What was
even
the
like
industry?
it was actually a health coach industry.
Oh, wow,
So
that's
she
great.
was a yeah, she was an international client, and I was dancing that day, and I also like posted it on freelance the group.
I remember.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, thanks for explaining. The range. Okay, can you give the range of charges that someone can? So you charge 400, but it's not necessary that everyone has to charge 400. Charges
Yeah,
can begin from about $300 globally,
300. Yeah,
but anything lesser than that usually isn't worth it. Like it's usually not worth it. And
yeah,
upper limit, there's no upper limit, but maybe $1,000 or so is
yeah.
a very realistic thing to have. And yeah, that is the range that you can think about. And I'm so glad that your very first client was a $400 client. A lot of people feel very shy to charge decent rates for their first
Yeah.
client. But I'm glad that that wasn't the case with you. So the money mindset was right. And talking about money mindset, how what are the main goals that you've been able to reach with your money mindset currently? And what kind of role did Freelance 101 Academy or I myself had to play in that, if any?
Yeah, so like growing up, I've had a really complicated relationship with money. And the first thing, like, I think the first module was regarding money mindset, right? And
Yes.
I was like, yeah. So I was sitting there with a pen and paper. I jotted down everything and I had to, like, follow everything. And now I can say that, like, money and me, we are in a very healthy relationship.
That
Yeah.
is absolutely amazing. I believe like in India, there's a lot of negative connotations that people have with money that affects people very
Yeah.
badly and they don't charge their worth. So that is definitely one of the major issues. And that's the first thing we deal with in F11 because without getting that right, you'll get clients, but they'll exploit you.
Yeah.
So that happens. And talking about clients who exploit you, have you had any bad experiences as a freelancer?
Yeah, I did have like my first two experiences were not really bad, but so one was they wanted an unpaid work, like it was an unpaid internship kind of thing, and I immediately said no. I had also put the posts on the group, so that was one thing. And the second one was like there was this client who had a lot of work to do, but then she wanted like all of it done in a very less amount of money, like very little amount of money. And those were the first two experiences that I faced, but I never gave up. So I used to like constantly talk to people, and it was all a part of the experience, like the whole freelancing experience. And finally, I could say that I struck gold. Yeah.
No, I really think that you have such a long way to go. Like there's diamond and platinum and everything waiting for you, baby. But my main question is that if you had two bad experiences right in the beginning, before you got barely started, how did that affect your confidence? And how did you not let that affect your confidence more importantly? Because there's a lot of people who just start off and the moment they experience the first setback, they're like, okay, maybe this is not for me. So
Yeah.
they just go in the safe path again. So, how did you personally overcome that?
So, like the first time that first experience happened, that was the client who wanted to charge way less, and I immediately said no. And the second time that it happened, so that was that client. And I remember I was sitting in my room and I was like feeling like really like, am I even doing like, am I even going the right path? Like then, but then the one quality with me and one quality that everyone should have is like, like whatever you face, right? You should never give up. You should overcome that obstacle, because after that, like definitely, like there's a path of success that lies around, right? So the first two experiences were really bad, but then I kind of like, I saw a lot of people who were doing really well. And I was just thinking like it's just a hurdle that is in the journey of success. So I tried like, like I used to like attend the live calls. Like I think I attended like 4 or 5 live calls, and like after the fifth live call, I started getting clients.
Oh,
So
wow. So it took
yeah,
you a little bit of time, and
yeah,
that's okay as long as it works out.
it took me a lot of time, but then after that, there was no stopping for me. Like it was just really smooth.
Yeah, it takes some time. Like for most people, it actually takes some time to gain the momentum. Once the momentum
Yeah,
is there, that's the best period to get more clients, scale your
yeah,
income to the roof. Because some people actually lose the momentum. And my first advice is that just don't do it. I understand
yeah,
exams happen and other things happen. Maybe do a little less, but don't stop. Don't like. stop everything altogether.
Yeah.
So, since you've been freelancing in an industry like marketing, you know that it's not a single skill set. It's a hybrid of a lot of skill sets,
Lot of.
and some like are very soft, like communication and like aesthetic sense and all of that. So you've probably learned, or you probably came across a lot of skill sets too, right? Which were the skill sets you found the most intriguing, and which were the skill sets that made you the most amount of money, if you can identify that?
So the skill sets that were really interesting to me. So that was like color psychology and like, the aesthetic skill set, because I always love playing with colors. Like I draw in my free time and all. So I love that part. And I also like sales funnel, like building sales funnels and designing a website. So, like designing a sales funnel, because I saw it in your reel. You were talking about top five
Top of the funnel,
jobs,
love the
yeah,
funnel.
for creative people, yeah. So that is when I started, like, upskilling on sales funnels, and that was really good. So these were the topics that were really interesting. And what was the other one? Like,
Which one was the most profitable for you personally? That is, you were able to
uh-huh.
apply it and make money with it.
Yeah, so that was definitely social media marketing, like, all these social media marketing skills and also sales funnels. But I personally, like, it was very interesting for me to, create all those posts and create a content, like, again, a content strategy. And like that was really interesting for me, and that made a lot of money too.
Talking about sales funnel. Okay, this is gonna be a bit hard, but let's say I'm a newbie taking a consultation from you, and I asked you, what's a sales funnel? So how would you explain that to me? Let's take into account I know nothing. Even I may not even know properly about websites, how they work.
Okay.
Can you try to explain it to me?
Okay. So, like, consider that you are like going into a website. And so once you see the website, you see a lot of things, right? Like you see their marketing, like the page, like you have all the elements in the page, but there would be that one like thing that strikes your attention, like catches your attention the most. They might have a shop now website or something like a
No
freebie.
button.
Yeah, sure, sorry, shop now button and a freebie. So it intrigues you, and then you just click on that button or a website just because it's free, right? So just because it's free, you click on that, and it takes you to another, like, it asks for your email ID, and later it just builds up that interest. So sales funnel, in a very like layman term, it's just building up the interest until, and like the end point is you becoming a customer. So building the interest and like till you become a customer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is like the simplest explanation that you can give. Just to my favorite example to give in terms of sales funnel, I don't know if I've ever said this within the academy or not,
Mm-hmm.
but let's say that you want to buy chocolate and you go to Amazon's page. So, and you search chocolate and you get so many results. You go on the results, maybe one of the chocolates, maybe you click Didier and Frank, and then you add it, and then you check out, then the money is deducted and like order is confirmed. This whole process is a sales funnel. And how you put it in terms of like, how do I help someone make more money with it? Well, let's say 100 people come on the website and 100 people search chocolate. Maybe only 6 people came to the next page. That means there was a drop off. There must be a reason for that drop off. So identifying that is a marketeer's job, or someone who is a good person at sales, someone who's good at sales funnels. After that, let's say only 30 people or so added a certain chocolate to their cart. And then, of course, it also happens that not all 30 of them are going to buy it. Some people are just going to forget about it. Some people are not going to end up buying it. And maybe after the whole process, maybe only just 5 people bought. So the conversion rate here is 5%, because out of 100, 5 people bought it. So every sales page has like a conversion percentage, and the sales funnel designer tries to improve the conversion percentage with
Yeah.
all their sales. So that includes literally everything. That includes advertising, that includes copywriting, marketing, everything. So what Seher does is a small part of it, and she's trying to expand to the whole arena
Yeah.
of sales funnel, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, this was one of the examples I used to give in my consultation calls, because people always understood what is Amazon. Like that
Yeah,
is one
this
thing
is
that They
Yeah.
always understand Amazon. Like I think the biggest lesson I've had like in my journey is that try to make things easy for people,
Mhm.
and they will love you for it. So
Yeah.
that's there. Talking about like all this upskilling and all this profitable skill learning, and it's been like a long process. How long did it take you to actually go from beginner to someone who has significant knowledge that they can be paid for it?
So that took me like 2 to 3 months. So to upskill, like I would say that it took me 2 to 3 months to like be confident in my skills that okay, I can really, help someone like more than getting paid. So I can really help someone with this value that I have. So
Mhm.
I'm still learning, I'm still upskilling, but so it took me 2 to 3 months to become really confident.
Mhm. And what was the last income goal that you hit that made you really proud of yourself?
So the last income goal that I hit was actually 1 lakh, and then
Wow, amazing.
yeah, and I was like the same thing. I was literally dancing once again, and I remember like every time I hit an income goal, my first thing is like go on the group and just share it to everyone. So that really so I'm like currently like uh planning to like working on hitting team 2 lakh soon.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
you want to go full time with freelancing?
Yeah, I was actually working like on a 9 to 5 before I started. That was like 2 to 3 months ago. And I wanted to leave like once I started freelancing, but then I wanted to get confident with my skills. So
Have
I
you
left my nine to
already, or do
five.
you plan to leave in the future?
I left my 9 to 5 like, last month.
Okay. And have you been able to replace it with your freelance income?
I would just say that what I was supposed to earn in a year, I just earned in like 2 months.
Wow, then you had a very bad job probably. So that's great. Like I think the best part about freelancing is that you can really control your income as long as your skill set is good. Right? You can have
Definitely.
full control. Like if you want, you can like serve less if you want, and then have more time for yourself. Most
Yeah.
people do want to make multiple lakhs though, because that's where they reach a lot of heights. Also, like if you make like 2, 3 lakhs a month for 6 months, you can literally sit and relax for the next six probably, but
Yeah.
nobody really does that. That gets boring too. I think people come into freelancing thinking that, oh, we'll make a lot of money and then we'll have a lot of free time, but then we kind of fall in love with it. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, I really like, at the start, I was just feeling like it was a very, what to say, like it was like this. But then once I started the process, I felt totally in love with the process. And I just thought that I can't go back to my old self now. Like it was a completely new person, like with respect to the mindset and with respect to everything, like with dealing a business,
What is the
dealing with
biggest
other
shift
topics.
in terms of the mindset and like you personally, you as a
Uh,
person?
Me as a person, so I, like I've learned to be in peace with myself, like being comfortable with me being alone. I mean, not lonely, I wouldn't say lonely, but me being alone and do my thing. And like earlier, I used to think, ki, like, what am I going to do, like in terms of future? Like, you don't have a purpose. Like, even though you do a lot of things, you do a degree, you do everything, but there needs to be something like a purpose. So freelancing is about making money, but I would also like, for me it was more about helping people and giving value out to people, even free value sometimes.
Yes, of course. I think free value is also very important for just a client to get to know you, a prospect to
Yeah,
get to know you.
definitely.
And that's totally something that should be a part of anyone's strategy. But you have to be very cautious about how much you talk about for free and how much you don't. So that's there. And I'm pretty sure you have been mastering it. You will master it even more in the upcoming months. Talking about the upcoming months, what's your
Mhm.
next goal apart from like the 2 lakh thing? Do you want to grow, hire more people? Do you want to maybe tone down here and pursue other ventures, or like are you going to go all in freelancing or agency? What's the future looking like for Seher?
So the future for me, I've been planning to hire more people because managing a lot of business, even like when I start to scale, so I've like started scaling already. So it's kind of like, I need someone else to like for this to become really profitable. So I'll start hiring out some people. So I've been planning on that. And agency, definitely. So I'll make this into an agency in 2 to 3 years, probably. Like, yeah.
Yes, you will.
And definitely.
You are like really, really good at what you do. And secondly, I think one of the soft skills you have, I don't know if you recognize that, but you are very good at communication and problem solving skills. Because I believe that that's something that was the first thing I noticed in you. Although, like, that's not like a core skill set for anyone, but it's definitely an added skill set that improves your chances compared to another person who might have the same skills, even better than you, probably. So that is something that you do have. And anyone watching this, it's not always the hard skills, because hard skills are actually the easiest to learn. It's the soft skills, it's the little things that are not that easy. There's no courses for them.
Definitely.
So that is something you should definitely work in. And Seher, that's something that I really admired you for. I still remember you came in and you made that group, and that was such a nice thing to do. Like, we did have some more groups, but no one had thought about the Discord thing before, and you were the first to do that, and you executed that so perfectly, and I was really, really impressed. So thank you so much for that. And that was not even a problem I thought people had, but she solved it for me, literally. So that was something that's not a sense that a lot of people have. Like, people do say, oh, I'm having an issue with this, but they don't go out and fix it. So this is an attribute I'm pretty sure you bring to your clients as well, and they love you for it too.
Thank you so much.
So when it comes to working for clients, where do you usually get your clients, or where do you usually go for prospecting?
So I usually use, so a lot of people have a lot of like, platforms that they like. But for me personally, Facebook groups was really, really helpful, like while prospecting for clients. Because
Mhm.
again, like I was all about the communication and all that. So I started prospecting on, there were a lot of like amazing Facebook groups that I didn't know of. And they were introduced to me by you. And yeah, so I
Can you
prospected.
recommend a few for our viewers? Your personal favorites, maybe?
So my personal favorites was the female entrepreneur community
Mhm.
and Boss Moms.
Yes.
Boss Moms is like everyone's favorite.
Yes, it is. It is. It is very good for like women-centric businesses. And
Yeah,
as far as I know, even like boys can enter it, but it's like
yeah,
predominantly
female.
dominated by women, because it's like women-centric business. But I do have like a lot of male friends who are also in the group, and they have also gotten clients. So I
Wow.
don't really understand what is the like rules of the group or anything, because I'm pretty sure men are allowed. So that's a weird thing about it. But at the end of the day, groups is not about the group names. Like, these are groups that may have worked out for us, but for you, it might be something entirely different. Feel free to experiment. But I think groups about business and entrepreneurship are so general that you will find some sort of business there for sure. Anything too niche becomes a bit hard for a beginner, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there were like a lot of groups. So once you type like female entrepreneur, or even like I actually searched a male entrepreneur for a lot of my friends, because they were like, there are a lot of only like female entrepreneur based groups. Like, what will we men do? So yeah, so I searched for that, and there were a lot of groups even for like
Yeah.
male dominant freelancers.
Yeah, I think that's something that is new information to me, because I didn't know that there are like male dominated groups, because I've never had to look for one, I guess.
Yeah,
But thank you for this. This is actually very new information. I think there are a lot of groups which are general groups which are very male dominated. For example, Facebook ad buying, ClickFunnels, all these groups are very male dominated groups. But at the end of the day, it's more about like what skill sets you can offer, and if the person in front of you can benefit from it. So don't worry too much about, oh, this is just for women, just for men. There's everything for everyone. That's not an issue, as long as you're valuable, and as long as you can help a business person get to their goals using your skill sets. So that is the takeaway from this snippet of the conversation. Now, Sir, what would be your advice to someone who is looking forward to get started in freelancing, but they have no clue where to get started, and they're also very worried that what if this doesn't work out? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to just get started. Like, once you get started, definitely like it is going to be a really great. I mean, freelancing has its ups and downs, but the end result at the end of the day, you will definitely feel like, yeah, I am doing something. So if you're getting started with freelancing, I would definitely like suggest you to go for Freelance 101 Academy,
Thank you.
because a lot of I get a lot of DMs like, since you put the post, so Seher, how about Freelance Academy? So it's just like, the Nike slogan. I'm like, just do it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. No, I really like the Nike logo
yeah,
and slogan and all of that. So
yeah.
thank you
I'm
so
like,
much for that.
yeah. So I just tell them, just do it, just go for it. Like, because uh you know, like, you pay. I mean, there is investment, but whatever investment, so whatever I invested, like, I made so much more than that. Like, so that is like,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm glad that you did, and the goal is that, right, at the end of the day, it's just to make sure that we can support everyone in the community as best as we can. And you're talking about support within the community. What is your favorite aspect about Freelance 101? Because there's a lot of elements to it, but what is your personal favorite that if nothing was there, but only that part of Freelance 101 Academy was there, you'll still be a part of it?
I would say this like 100 times, like the freelance one, the whole community, right? Like, each and everyone, like, their absolute gold, because like, I made a lot of friendships within like those 3 months. Like, what I haven't done in the past 1 year or 2 years due to the lockdown, I made so many friendships in the community. Like, so that was really like good. Even now, like, even if I don't feel low, there are people like from the community who check upon me saying like, hi, hey, what are you doing? Are you okay? And we just, talk. So it's like it's like talking to a coworker, like,
Yes.
in a non-toxic way.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You seem like you were in a toxic workplace from what you are talking. Uh, I think that's one of the things that is definitely a factor of entrepreneurship and freelancing in general as well, that it gets very lonely if you don't have a good peer community. So definitely, I love the batches. I think batch one has been smaller than batch two, but batch two is like so much more intimate with each other. I mean, I don't think there's many people in batch two who don't know each other. So that's one of the things that I've seen, like with your batch, that is the intimacy, right? And everyone knows everyone. If I say that, oh, you talk to this person, they're like, oh yeah, okay, I know them. Like, okay, cool, amazing. So I think batch two is much more intimate that way. But overall, I think Freelance 101 Academy as a whole won't be so successful if it weren't for people like you who are just so dedicated to their goals. Because at the end of the day, we just give you the tools. Um, you are the person doing it, you are the person applying it in your way, and you did it terrifically. Otherwise, you wouldn't get to these goals. So, congratulations on that, Seher. I'm so proud of you. Like, looking at you fills my heart with so much joy, because again, you're the first person I ever knew from the second batch. And of course, there was a lot of anxiety, right? Like, whenever there's a new batch, and
Yeah.
I knew the older batch so well, like the back of my hand. And suddenly everyone is so new, and you are so friendly and you're so helpful, and just got me started so nicely. So that was very precious to me, and I'm so grateful for that.
Thank
Thank
you.
thank
Thank
you
you so
so much
much.
for that. And it's kind of surprising. This is the first time we are meeting like on video, because I feel
Yeah.
like I've been talking to you like forever, because we've spoken so
Even
many.
I feel the same. Like, I'm like kind of like camera shy, so I was like feeling so. I was drinking a lot of water before this conversation started, but then, once we sat down, it was like talking to an old friend.
Exactly. It's like very surprising. But I guess that's what happens when you like pursue similar things and you have similar interests in mind.
Yeah.
So it's been like so amazing talking to you. To end this, what's going to be your advice to someone who is probably skeptical of their abilities to
Mhm.
make money online, who is scared that they're going to be scammed, and they have all the fears that you might probably have had before you got in, before you quit your job? How would you address that, and what's going to be your final words for them?
I would say, first of all, I would say to never doubt in your abilities, like never underestimate like what you have, because obviously you have a lot of skills, but I would just say that you haven't identified them yet, and you should never underestimate on that. And second thing, whenever you have a hurdle or any short, like sort of shortcoming at all, I would ask you like cry. I mean, like bail your eyes out, like cry how
I
much ever
think this
you
is the
want.
realest advice.
Yeah. So just cry and like even like bind to your mom, bind to your family, but never give up, because that is what I did. I did not cry, but I did feel some types of, like I was feeling like low at certain points, and like the at the end of the day, what I did was I like went through it. Like, so once you go through whatever is happening, like you pass through your obstacles, so success definitely awaits you. And like if you're joining the academy, and if you ever feel like low, we are there. Like the community is there for you. Like you can cry to us.
I think so. I think one of the most common questions that I've heard on like live Q&As is that, oh, I don't want to talk to clients. I'm an introvert. And I'm like, that's not a good enough reason to not talk to clients, because if you were to
Definitely.
do a job, you'd have to talk to people, and probably with more people than here. So that's not it. But my next advice is that there's many introverts here who are making a hell lot of money. Please talk to them. That will make you feel less alone. I think introverts are not like unsocial people. It's just that they don't prefer talking to people. So I understand.
Exactly.
I'm an introvert. I believe you are too.
Yeah, I am a huge introvert. Like I'm really camera shy, and but then every time I have a call, like a client call, so I always prefer putting myself out there, even if they tell me that we're going to like let's have this conversation on call. I tell them like let's do a video call instead. Like even though a person is an introvert, like showing your truest personality is only through a video call, and yeah,
Yeah,
so
I believe you are helping others get out of their comfort zones now that you have got out of yours. And
yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway here is that your business can only grow as much as you grow. So you can't be doing the actions you were doing like up until the time you were not good enough and
Yeah.
expect to get amazing results with that. There are changes that you need, but then there's always people who can relate to you, people who can be there for you. And that's the kind of vibe you need in your life. So thank you so much, Seher, for sharing all this information. Are there any other things that you might want to add for our viewers who are like newbie freelancers? They are thinking of probably getting started with social media marketing. Any resources you would recommend for them, free, paid, and overall any last tips for them?
So one underrated tip that I like, learned was whenever you have like, so you can Google, like Google is there for everything. So you can Google anything that you want. Like even before asking an expert, you can definitely Google. So if you don't find it, so that is when you ask someone else. But the thing that I found out from Google was like, so whatever you want to search, and whenever you want a free resource, just consider adding the word PDF at the end of it, because like if I'm searching for a content strategy, I just put content strategy and a PDF.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got a lot of free resources. So if you're searching for like social media management, like social media management ideas, put social media management ideas and put a PDF at the end of it. Like the magic word here is PDF. So you get a lot of free content due to that.
Yes, I do agree with this. Like I also like do all these like insight searches and Boolean searches to find resources all the time.
Yeah.
So definitely a really amazing tip that you have shared today. I hope that you make use of it if you've watched this video till the end. And thank you so much once again, Seher. It's been amazing talking to you and sharing all the experience you've been through in the past few months with all our viewers. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here actually.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know where I got you from. Your God said. Thank you so much. I will be taking your leave, guys. I will leave Seher's links, how you can get in touch with her, and all the resources we discussed as well in the description in case you want to check them out. And yes, I'll see you with another video next week. Till then, bye bye.
Bye.